Good morning, everybody. Grace and peace to you from our Lord Jesus Christ and all the saints here in Central California. Coming to you this week with some firewall fun. I'm not going to show you the inside of my firewall, I'm sorry. But this week has pretty much been all about firewalls for me, starting on Monday. So I come in Monday morning and I go through all my trouble tickets, of which there's only two. One that I'm waiting for more information from the end user, and another one was saying they couldn't get to a web page. They were saying the site is blocked. Please unblock the site. I said, okay, well, what site is it? So they put it in the ticket, and this was the site right there. Now obviously that's not the real website, because I want to protect this company. I don't want people trying to go and log in there, because it's only, you have to have a valid login, and anyway, I want to protect the company. So they're trying to get to this website, and they're saying it's blocked. Can I please unblock it? So the first thing I do is I go into Palo Alto has a URL checker. You can test a URL to see if it's going to be blocked by Palo Alto by default for any reason, like well, Palo Alto won't tell you it's blocked. What it'll do, it'll tell you what class and category of website it is. So, pasted the URL into the their URL checker, and it came back as a medical website. I said, okay, well that's not going to be blocked. So then I actually tried to go to the website, and what I got was, this isn't the exact message, but it's very similar. I didn't take a screenshot of the exact message, but I basically got a page can't be displayed. And this is why the user ended up entering a ticket in with us, is they saw, check the proxy and the firewall. Oh, it's firewall. Those firewall guys are doing it to us. So I said, okay, well, there must be something going on. So I'll just keep the phone turned here. Sorry, I'll try not to turn it so fast so you won't get sick. There we go. So the first thing I did is did an NS lookup on it and got the IP address and see if I can trace route to it. What's going on? So is it the firewall? Palo Alto is saying it's not blocked by the firewall. So I want to see, maybe, the website could just be down. That happens quite a bit. When that happens, usually you'll still be able to ping it many times, and other times their whole server is down. You can't even ping them. So first thing I wanted to do is I was going to do a trace route to it, and the trace route took me from my local PC to my core to my firewall, and then it just timed out. Like, okay, well, let me get in the firewall and check to see where this would be routed. And I get into the firewall, and I discover that when I check the route, I've got a static route for this, and it's pointing to tunnel 13. So the first thing I thought was, okay, sorry, I'm going to turn you very slowly so you don't get sick. There we go. The first thing I thought is, oh, okay, so they got to go over a tunnel to get to this website, because that route points out this tunnel 13. So I looked at the tunnel. The tunnel was up. There was traffic flowing two ways over it. But when I looked at the, we call them proxy IDs. Cisco would call it like an access control list. It kind of controls what can go over the tunnel. And we were only pointing to two servers over there. So my first thought was, well, they're trying to go to a website they're not even authorized to go to, because, we never set it up to begin with. And then I was told, oh, no, they go to that all the time. This is something that just started happening. I said, okay, well, you give me a contact. So they gave me a contact with that company, and it ended up being one of their application developers. He wasn't in their networking group at all, but he was very helpful. And I said, hey, we we got users that say this just started happening, and they can't get to this website. I was wondering if you had any more information about it, because I don't even know what this website is or what it does or anything. And he's like, oh yeah, this is so they can get into this other medical record software and look up patient records and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, we can't get to it. So he goes, that's weird, let me try it. He goes, well, it's working for me. I said, now, do you have to go over a VPN to get to this? Application developer, I didn't know if he'd even know what I was talking about. He said, because we have a VPN set up with this company, and we don't have it set up for this website to go over the VPN. And he goes, well, I'm connected to it from home, and I'm not on a VPN right now. Here, let me check my iPhone. And he gets his phone out, and he says, yeah, I can get to it from my phone. I said, oh, wait a minute. If you can get to it and you're not on any kind of VPN, I said, so do you work for this company? He said, no, I'm an independent developer. And he says, we don't ever need a VPN to get to it. Okay, then that clued me in. Okay, this must be an internet legal address. So the addresses that they did give me on the tunnel I set up, they were using public IP addresses. Must be, anyway. So that's when I look, say, okay. When I set up the tunnel, I thought I'm going to be clever, and we're only going to these addresses in these ranges right now on this subnet, /29. Said, okay, I'm going to be smart, and then say they add some more later. That's a /28 or 27 or 26 or whatever. Just adding on to the number of hosts we can get to over there. I'm just going to add it as a /24. And that's where I outthought myself. So, okay, so this end user, well, the guy I was talking to, he wasn't the end user, so ignore that. He says he can get to it from anywhere. So it must be an internet legal address. So when I looked at this, again, okay, you know what I did? I put in an overly broad route. I shot myself in the foot. Said, okay, I am going to change the route so that it can only go to what they told me that they're setting up on their end, and then go over the tunnel. And so once I did that, end of documentation there. Once I did that, pushed the configuration of the firewall, website came up no problem. So moral to the story is this time it really was a network problem created by this guy. So anyway, yeah, just to shatter all your illusions about me being the smartest guy out there and being perfect, I'm not. I make so many mistakes, it's not even funny. So in fact, to pile onto that, we were setting up another tunnel this week to a new company. We're setting up two tunnels. One's a disaster recovery tunnel in case they're having problems, a DR tunnel. One's a production tunnel that we would normally use. Normally use a production tunnel. If they're having problems, we're going to fall over to their DR tunnel. So there's two different peers that I'm connecting to and blah, blah, blah. And they want to set up the DR tunnel first. It's like, okay, great. So we set up the DR tunnel. Comes up no problem. It's like, okay, great. Well, and I won't say no problem. There's some initial handshaking, like setting up Ike, phase 1, phase 2 issues, but we got those ironed out and everything worked. Then we come over to the production tunnel. It's not coming up. And the pre-shared key, the Ike settings, phase 1, phase 2 settings were all the same. The only thing that was different was the two peer endpoints. This one just will not come up. So I'm like, I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, it's set up exactly the same. And so they're checking all the things. They can't find anything wrong either. So this is where we start to stare and compare. So I go over to the tunnel. I said, okay, when you set up the tunnel in Palo Alto, you tell it what phase 1 is, what phase 2 is, all that good stuff. The other part of setting up a tunnel is something Palo Alto calls proxy IDs. And I just alluded to that earlier with this. And the proxy ID says, we're coming from these addresses on our side, and we want to go to these addresses on your side. Palo Alto does proxy IDs to set up a tunnel with. Proxy IDs are only for Cisco devices. If we set up another tunnel or set up a tunnel with another Palo Alto unit, we don't have to worry about proxy IDs. Cisco you do, because I guess the access control list is part of the tunnel set up in Cisco. I don't know. I don't know anything about setting up tunnels on Cisco. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, because I don't know. But that's what I gather. So your two subnet lists have to match. The proxy IDs have to match his access control list. And so we started doing a stare and compare on that. And I made not one, but two different typos in two different proxy IDs. And they caught it, not me. So once I changed that, the tunnel came up. Of course, now the DR tunnel doesn't work, so I don't know but this was like 5 hours worth of meetings, 3 hours one day, 2 hours the next day. And we were done. I said, okay, the DR tunnel, we can probably just email each other back and forth to bring that up, right? And everybody agreed, because they were all tired of being on there. Oh, and what was funny, so the production tunnel, we call it prod tunnel, was up, and so I asked our developer over here, I said, hey, can you ping the remote server? And he's like, no. So that's when we worked on the tunnel, finally got the tunnel up, got it all worked out. And he says, okay, hey, the pings are responding. I said, okay, there's like 3 different servers we have to get to over there. I said, make sure you can ping all 3 of them. He says, yep, I can ping all 3 of them. I said, how about from the other server? We have a production server and a test server. Can you ping their 3 servers from our production and test? Yep, I can do that too. Awesome. And I talked to the other guys. Okay, can you ping these servers? No, we can't ping those servers. Okay, great. So we are troubleshooting. That was like the last hour and a half. We're troubleshooting this. Can't find anything. I mean, the tunnel is obviously up, but we're getting pings and we're getting replies. But when they ping us, I see absolutely no traffic coming in. Nothing. Zero zip nada. Finally, this one guy speaks up. Oh, hey guys, I haven't been paying much attention. Wait, are you trying to ping their servers? Meaning us, trying to ping our servers. He was talking to his techs. Are you guys trying to ping their servers? Yeah. He goes, oh, well, yeah, there's a funny thing with our network. Ping is kind of hit and miss. It doesn't always work. Ping doesn't always work? Okay, if you're new to networking, and maybe some of you guys who got more experience than me can explain this to me. But in my pea-sized brain, ping is like one of the main things. That's like the first thing we go to troubleshoot, right? Isn't it ping? And then traceroute? And then he's telling these guys, oh, ping doesn't always work on our network. It may not work, so don't worry about that. We'll just do more testing with the actual ports and protocols we're going to be using, which is HL7 data. That's what we're going to be sending back and forth. He says, well, we'll just test with HL7 data later. If it's not ping, if it's ping that's not working, I'm really not concerned about that. Well, that concerns me. Ping should work. I even had him disable the Windows firewall on the server. I said, okay, just disable that. Maybe we get ping turned off. It won't answer a ping. He turned off the firewall, still wouldn't answer. I could ping it, but no, they couldn't. Yeah, that one got to me. That was funny. That's still not done because I still can't bring the DR tunnel up from my side. I can bring the prod tunnel up, but not DR. Anyway. Ping doesn't always work. Ping should always work. Anyway, all right. That's all I got. I'm done rambling and raving over this guy. It took him an hour to wake up and say, oh, ping doesn't work. Anyway, if you like what you heard, you didn't see much, but you heard a lot, click the subscribe button and click the notification bell if you want to know when I put these out. Leave a comment below if you think ping should always work, or if you think it's okay if ping doesn't work and there's situations where it isn't going to work. And you know, I'm not the smartest guy in this room. I'm just the smartest guy available in this price range. So yeah, leave me a comment. What situations can you think of where, you know, we're going to have network connectivity but ping doesn't work? I know it could be filtered by a firewall. I mean, I get that, but if they have explicitly allowed ping in their security rules, and I trust that they did. I couldn't see their rules, but they said they did, and I believe them. It was enabled in my rules. That was part of the very first, when we exchanged VPN forms with each other. You know, they said these are the ports we want open, and ICMP was one of them. So we opened it. But if you can think of a situation, leave a comment below. Let me know. I'm curious, because I can't think of one reason why ping wouldn't work normally on a network. So unless they've got some kind of weird, crazy, convoluted networking set up on their side, which I suspect. So, all right, guys, I'm done. I'm done with the whole ping thing. Sorry about that. We'll see you guys all next week. Have a great weekend. Oh, and to the guy that said he could tell that I had recorded the video earlier in the week by the phase of the moon he saw when I was out walking, that's pretty awesome. But I'll save you the trouble. Today is Thursday, and this is coming out on Sunday. So see you guys all next week. God bless.